Okay, here's another transformation review of the Fans Toys Outrider, aka Trailbreaker. And this is coming after I did transform it a couple of times like other reviewers before they actually make a review. So when you saw my long video, that was raw. I was just transforming it for the first time. And so here I have the no brand KO Optimus Prime with the smaller backpack, just because I had it out. And these two are gonna go together with my other third-party KO, non-official. But anyways, so like I said, I did transform it a couple of times to better understand things and to better see the issues with some of the designs. But in general, again, this is a really nice figure. It looks really nice. Definitely better than X-Trans bots. But like I said, I'm very confident the Takata version is going to be much better in terms of design, even the darker gray. But anyways, okay, so let's do the transformation. Let's start with the feet. So you can see there it's a little opening, so you can open it from there, and then what you want to do is pull out the tire. But if you saw my long video, that was where one of the issues were. There was a small tab that would snap into place, causing it to be so tight where you could not take it out. So I had to shave it off as much as I can. So now you can see this is much easier. So you might want to consider shaving off that tab that you don't need. And I want to point out there's issues with this tab. Tabs, like another area is right here. You can see you don't really need that, and actually it gets in the way, because when you want to these two panels, when you want to transform it back to robot mode, you can't just put it flush and open it up because that tab gets in the way. You have to actually bend it and then open the tab and then make it flush. So there's just no need for that. So it causes issues. So even the same thing when transforming it to vehicle mode, you kind of have to bend it. Then close the tab, and then you want to bring the leg down, accordion it down. Then you can close this. It doesn't really close all the way flush right there. Then this foot, this foot support, you want to take it off, put it to the back heel, and then let's see. Then the last thing with the legs, they did nicely put a little clip here, so you can open this, which you need to do to pull out part of the vehicle right there. So that's one side. Now the same thing. I'll just try to do it a little faster. Just open the side, and then pull out the tire. Just pointing out, I had to shave it off. So now it easily can come off. You really didn't need that. Slightly bend it so you can close these panels, and then put it on the inside. Before you close it, you have to accordion this with these two hinges. You want to accordion it down and close it. It doesn't close flush right there. Take this foot support out, put it to the heel, lift it up, and yeah, then you got the lower legs done. You can tab these in, which is always a little tricky, but I do want to point out something here. These legs here, you want to make sure, oops, before that, let's do what I forgot to do here. Open this, put that up, now I'll close it, and then tab it in. Okay, so part of the vehicles. Now what I was saying, these hips, you want to make sure, see how they swivel? That's what makes it difficult when you try to lock this into vehicle mode, the bottom of the car. Because if you, they basically, you know, they basically, to over exaggerate, they need to be out like this so that they can tab in. So when you try to put it in, it doesn't tab in because what happens is the leg starts coming inward and then this is sticking out, so you can't tab it in. So you'll see what I'm talking about later, but I'm just pointing that out. And you don't really need to do it now, but I'm just saying, kind of like have the legs like pointed outwards. Okay, now like easy stuff, let's put these away. Let's fold up the hand. You have to rotate it this way in order for it to tuck in. And then the same thing with this side, but I also want to point out the way they did this. Fans Toys just, I don't think they take into consideration their paint, how it causes tightness and stuff, and how tight they're putting the screws. But initially, once you put this in, you could not take it off. Like you're seeing TM review, he's telling you to like push it in. It doesn't really work. But you can see what they try to do. They try to give you like two little hooks right there so you can pull it out. So after I loosened it, you know, what I did is I tried to wear some of the plastic by going in and out, in and out. So now it is a little bit easier to push in and take out. Okay, so push it in, open the back of the arm, make sure you put it in so it's flush. It's not flush. Okay, now it's flush. Now you can close it. Okay, and now this is something you want to note. You want to turn these arms out so that it can tuck in. Okay, now we got to open up this back. So you can first you have to separate the front from the back. They put in this nice parting line, which is cool. So you got to untab that. Okay, and now that that's done, you can lift this back. Well, actually, you're gonna have to bring the back of this down, and this is another issue. I mean, you hear all that sound. This is not really good. This is prone to breakage because it's so tight and because of the hard plastic, and once it becomes harder, and if you're pulling it wrong, I know you're gonna break this area. But you do need to bring it down. Just get it out of the way for now, because you want to lift this back. And well, before that, you gotta untab this head. Oh yeah, I gotta do these steps that I remember. Let's put the arms back down. lift up this head and then put this down. Put this, whatever you call this part, down like this. So it looks kind of like that. And then you can start trying to slowly get this back part up, which is very difficult because this is another problem area. If you can hear, this is another hard plastic where you can see it's going to be prone to breakage here. But anyways, so now if I'm trying to remember how I did this, well, before that, I forgot, you got to adjust this head. You got to lift this back panel up, back of his head up. To do that, you got to lift his face up, then bring it down, then the back part does come up. Okay, so now this is this clearance issue here. This piece gets in the way. So the best that you can do here, I forgot how I did this, but I remember there was a way I did this so that it has good clearance. I'm trying to remember the order. I do remember this has to go up. It's just because you don't want to be bending and stretching plastic over plastic. So how did I do that? Because it would have been better if they put this on a ball joint so you could turn it. So the head has clearance, but it doesn't. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's what I did. So the best that I can do is you just kind of have to have the car kind of assembled, straight, like that, the back with the front, and then there should be a little bit of space to get this to pass through. Yeah, you see? I don't know if you saw that, but you see? So yeah, it has to be like that. So just so you see how it's aligned, so when you're lifting that head up, you have to have it situated like this. When you have it situated like this, this does allow you to have that head to clear. Once you do, then you can open this up all the way. And I just want to point out again, this is just not good. It's gonna worries me about breakage because it's hard plastic, and it's a tight joint. Okay, so now that we got that out, now you can let's see, push out these panels on both sides. Okay, and then the other panel. So unfortunately, there's no other way to do this, but because it kind of gets in the way. But to get it out of the way, you kind of have to now situate it this way at this angle. Now, this is where you have to tuck this head in. Make sure the head's facing forward and make sure it's as straight as you can get it, because if the head's turned a little bit like that, it's not gonna, things aren't gonna fit in very well. So now the third issue here is this area. It's so tight. It's another area that's gonna be prone to breakage, and that's just because they didn't give enough space parting line to allow for movement, and I'll show you a better one. But you have to be very firm with this just to kind of get it to be flush. And all those sound, that's just not good. Now let me see if I can give you a good look to see what I'm talking about. You see, it's slightly opened on the bottom, but then it starts to be the line starts to disappear higher up. You know, it should just be a good noticeable parting line, and that would allow this to swivel much easier without all this friction and tension, which is causing stress on this hard thin plastic, which is what's going to cause it to break. So the way to get around it is you have to press like as close to here as possible. Okay, so that's done. Now, now to put this in, you do have to turn it at an angle to get it in. These things get in the way. You have to get it at an angle to get it in. Once you get it in, then you can rotate this back straight on this ball joint. Because they just don't have enough clearance here. Because this gun is a little bit too long. You can see it's hitting on that plastic. So they could have just made it a little bit smaller, and then you don't have to go through all of that. But anyways, then this one, then you can just push it in. So then it gets situated like that. Now you can close it, and then you gotta just make sure you tab it in on both sides. Okay, and then remember, you're just kind of unpacking all of this. Now you want to bring this down again. That sound is just so not good. It's just tight. They shouldn't have made it so tight. And you gotta tab all these in, both sides. Just forming the back part of the car. This part came undone. Tab it back in. Okay. Now just make sure all of this is pushed in, because the arms are going to have to go in there. Now, easy way to do it is, they don't lock in very well, is don't try to get the arms in this way. You have to lift this up to get the arms in that way. Now this part's a little tricky, but you do have to take note of things where the hinges are. So first of all, let's get these arms open, these car doors. You lift it up, you lift up the back, and then you gotta, this is what you gotta see. You gotta see how there's two hinges. One is here, where it's just pulling it out from the back to the front, but then there's another swivel which is on the top, if you can see that part, and it's very tight. But if you want, you can loosen it up, because it is a screw there. So, but you do need to loosen that up. You need to bring it out, open the car window. Okay. Now let's just get this one side, since that's what I'm doing. And then this is gonna have to fold in. sure this comes out, and just get it straightened out. And this is what I was telling you, it's a little bit tricky here. Remember, the shoulder, this door and this shoulder has 2 hinges. That's what you just got to take note of. Okay, it should be like that. Now you got to do the same thing. Let's see, just lift the back, and then you're going to have to push this part out. And then, let's see, just open this up. And then, gotta do the same thing on this arm, which is to tuck it inside. Which is a little bit tricky. Because it's on 2 hinges. It's on this hinge and then it's on this hinge. So one has to tuck in. So you just have to know that that's also on 2 hinges. And to get it in, it's gonna take some fiddling. I don't know why I'm having so much difficulty this time, but it goes in, and then it should tuck in from here, which is, okay, yeah, it's because it's tight, that's why. It doesn't move very easily because they're tight. You know, what you can do is, you can see there's a screw. I mean, you can right there, I mean, you can loosen them so that you're not, you know, going through what I just went through. Okay, but now that I finally got them in, and then the same thing on this side, you just want to line it up, and then you can bring this down where you're tucking the arms in, which is really a tight fit. If you can see that shoulder cannon and the arms, yeah, then you just gotta start lining all these things up, which is gonna be a challenge because they're gonna start popping off like it did here. Just have to get everything tabbed in. So if you can see, and then this part, it's on a double hinge. Now that we're here, you can kind of turn these wheels. It doesn't really lock into place, so you just have to make sure you get it as straight as you can. Okay, now the final part. Okay, there's a tab that goes in right there. And this is what I was telling you. Right here, for it to go in on both sides, so as I was telling you, you kind of have to get these legs a little bit. You can't have it inwards because then they're sticking out. It won't tab in. You kind of have to have them rotated out a little bit so they will tab in. See? I mean, like it's up here where it's a little bit difficult. So hopefully I got this opened up, and so all I need to do is just push in from here, both sides, and that's what I was telling you, it works. Now there's no difficulty just trying to get that in. So it's all in now. Now it's just squeezing everything so it's all tight. I forgot to flip this over, but before you flip that over, you gotta go in with the screw and loosen it so you can flip it over. But since I didn't do it, I'm just gonna leave it like that. Could put that little satellite dish up there. Bam! So that's it. Here he is in alt mode. Oh, actually, all these tabs, they gotta be tabbed in again. That's just it's just a little detail part, but this is it. And so maybe I'll do another one transforming it back into robot mode. But this is from robot mode to alt mode. So this is the Fans Toys Outrider, aka Trailbreaker.